Check, check. Mic check. Fly racing. Fly racing. Fly racing. Fly racing.
MX Network production. This is the Fly Moto 60 show.
Presented by Maxxis Tires, 100% Goggles, Decal Works, Get Data, and Vertex Piston.
On PulpMX.com, taking your calls and looking ahead to the races with your host, Steve Mathis.
Yeah, welcome everybody to Fly Racing Moto 60 show is live. Let's take it outdoors, man. Thanks for watching and listening. Appreciate it. Lots to get into when it comes to the outdoors kicking off this weekend in Fox Raceway. Round 1 of 11, man, and Supercross is done and outdoors is here. And Zach Osborne and Jason Weigandt are going to come on the show and talk about it. Thank you again for watching and listening. Fly Racing Moto 60 show. Get Maxxis, Decal Works, O'Neill Home Team Lending, Seat Concepts 100%, all on board with us today, as are you people. And, man, I'm excited about the 450 class. Seriously, I really am. There's lots to get into with Osborne and Weigandt today. PulpMX code to save at Fly Racing, flyracing.com. So get the code and type in PulpMX and save with the folks at Fly Racing. Official gear of Cooper Webb, RJ Hampshire, Chance Hymas, many other riders. Please check out flyracing.com and use that code. And thank you for supporting that. Appreciate it. Saves you money across the board. Taking your phone calls over there, holding things down in the corner. The Talon Taylor. What's up, Wolfie?
It's weird being here on a Thursday. Might be more often.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Appreciate it. And then working the cameras is Tits legendary?
That is a real question, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I am, and
Okay.
I'm here, but no Travis.
So Travis is on vacation.
Freaking guy,
once
man.
again.
Yeah,
as usual.
living the dream.
Yep, absolutely. So who's paying Talon?
Travis.
Travis
somehow,
is paying
yeah,
Talon.
we're doing a little switcheroo. I have
Okay.
the harder job.
Yeah.
And somehow he's paying him.
Are you getting the $1 more now because of the cameras?
I'm not, no.
Oh.
Sadly.
I don't know what's going on
Me
here,
neither.
folks. This is
It's bull.
this is is this the YouTube link here?
Yeah, the second one.
Oh, okay. All right. Fly Racing, Moto 60 show. No, that doesn't work. God, you're failing on that. All right. Let's get to our guests here. Rough start for the year.
Just 1 second. I'll figure it out.
Okay, wait. No, that works. That does work. That is working. Thank you. Fly Racing Moto 60 show, 702-586-7857. Give us a call. By the way, Freddie Norn, if he rides all 11 Nationals this year, will be one short of John Dowd for all-time 450 motocross starts. That is a stat that kind of blew me away. Maxxis Tires on his Kawasaki there, and thanks to the folks at Maxxis Tires for all that they do for us. High-end motocross tires developed by Jeremy McGrath, used by Freddie and Cade and Yoder and many other guys out there in Supercross and motocross. So thanks to the folks at Maxxis.com for all the information. Go there and check them out. Mountain bike tires are phenomenal as well. Speaking of mountain biking, this gentleman is doing a little bit of it there in North Carolina. He's also the voice this summer of the motocross races. It's the Jason Weigandt. What's up, Weech?
Yeah, great radio, bro, to start this show off. That was really good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm a professional, as you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I've never had audio connectivity technological problems. So
No, never.
I do not accept this.
No,
I do
never.
not accept
Never at all. True professional. So, hey, speaking of that, you're in the booth. Stu's there for all 11, I'm guessing?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right, baby.
And is RC dropping in here or there? Some NBC shows, or what's the plan for that?
No, he's taking the summer off. He will not see RC back until September.
Okay.
Yeah, in the past, it actually wasn't an NBC thing as much as it was Stu just couldn't do all of them, and this year he can.
I thought it was like special races. They made the 3-man booth happen. Okay, all right.
Not in motocross. I do have an announcement that some people will be shocked by.
Okay.
It does seem like summertime weekends people aren't dying necessarily to take those as opposed to California in January.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's odd.
It's kind of like, if you need me, give me a call, but I'm not begging.
Right.
I think is the general, and that is not just RC. There is a long history of this. There is another rider with the initials of KW, who I believe was once offered the job, and he was like, oh, man, every weekend in the summer? I don't know, man. Yeah. These guys have a lot of money, so it doesn't really, they don't scrap for it like you and I do.
So Stu's in for all 11, and then JT pit reporting. AC may drop in here or there, from what I hear.
I think they asked AC. I think you might have there might be a similar response to the summertime.
Oh.
It might be a similar response.
He told me he was doing some. That guy said he was going to do some. So
I think they asked. And maybe he will, but as of now, I don't think that's the plan. But we do, this weekend, if Haley Shanley, who you folks know from Race Day Live, he is going to be the second reporter with JT doing the podium and stuff at the first two rounds. So cool.
Great.
I think of Race Day Live as the same show, but I think for her it's considered an upgrade because she's on the quote-unquote TV show. Yeah. So good for her.
And let me guess, JT's in for all 11?
Yeah, he's in for all 111.
All right.
No problem. No problem.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
By the way, on RacerX Online, the outdoor motocross preview shows have dropped on YouTube and on the website. So it's me, Weeds, JT. We filmed it at Salt Lake, and they dropped. So please check that out, people, if you want.
Yes.
I got the audio as well. So, all right. So I wrote this in Racerhead. It'll come out tomorrow. I'm pretty jaded. I don't get excited for much. Like, I'm really like, yeah, whatever. You know, it is what it is. I've been doing this a long time. But for reals, I'm genuinely excited for 450 Outdoors this year. I really am. Like, I know we'll get into a pattern. The guys will do what they're going to do for, round 4, 5, 6 going in the summer. We all know that's going to happen. But to start, there are so many storylines for you and James to talk about. All of us, like, this is awesome. This is really cool.
It's about as good as it gets for that kind of thing. And it's unfortunate and fortunate. The sport just happens to be this way, right, where there's multiple series within a calendar year, and there's multiple injuries within a calendar year, and this one timed out just perfectly. Just imagine if it was one long time. Like, just these guys aren't even coming back. If this is like most forms of racing where you just have one thing all year long, like, why would they even come back at all? Or they wouldn't come back until the end, maybe. But we happen to get this milepost where it's like, if you can get healed up in 4 months, you have a whole fresh slate, and this year it worked out perfectly, and this is not by design. This is just the way the calendar, and we've had 2 championships for 50 years. So it couldn't have worked out better.
No, it's going to be great. Obviously, Sexton defending champion and Jet coming in. Hunter was really good last year. Jorge Prado, Eli Tomac. AP's good at Paula all the time. There's going to be dudes that are going to get like 7th and 8th that are going to be like, what the hell just happened?
Oh, yeah. I mean, on the preview shows you just mentioned, and the audio is also available on my Exhaust podcast, just like yours, Steve at the show. If you just say these names alone, it's just Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac, both Lawrence brothers, Jorge Prado. That's 5 guys right there.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone else wants to be in the top 5, you have to beat one of those 5. And, I mean, it's not like Plessinger is a 5B. Like, he should be in that group also. And Justin Cooper and other people I'm forgetting. Cooper Webb. Is Cooper Webb a factor? So I don't even know, man. Like, being top, like you said, being 7th is very possible for anybody this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I have a feeling, I know it's ACL is a little different than the thumb that we saw Jet come back from. It is different. It's a bigger injury. Honestly, though, like with the way things are going with the ACL stuff that these guys are doing now, the quicker recovery, the mesh surgery that these dudes are doing, I think Jet will be on point right away. Like, maybe the fitness won't be there so much, but I think he's going to battle Chase Sexton for 1 and 1st or 2nd. Like, I don't see this isn't, Dunge came out at Hangtown years ago and went like 7-9. We'll never figure that out. We'll never know what happened. This isn't that to me.
Well, Dunge wasn't hurt. That was Supercross hangover.
Yeah. But that's just a weirdo result for the first round. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Unfortunately for everyone else racing, I don't think you're going to get that. I know, like you said, it's different than a thumb injury. But you did say back then, if Jet comes out and wins the Charlotte SMX, that is really bad
We're in trouble
for everyone else.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
And he did. He did win it. The next week he wasn't quite as good, and that was a bit of a reprieve. I think it made people forget. He ended up winning 2 of the 3, but he didn't sweep it, so it seemed normal-ish. But as I said on these preview shows, I'm not predicting that he wins, but I am saying we have to carve out the thought that this is a whole lot of hype, and in the end you're just like, oh, my God, look at Jet Lawrence.
Yeah.
My God.
I really agree with you.
God.
Well, you said he had never lost a 450 national that he didn't. What?
Only Hangtown.
Yeah.
Only Hangtown.
Where he absolutely died. Where he hasn't crashed. He hasn't lost one. And I'm just like, wait, what? Because I thought he struggled a bit going forward here or there and lost. I thought High Point. I thought Chase won High Point. I don't remember that.
No, but he still won all. He wasn't 1-1 2023 Jet Lawrence, but he still won all 3 races.
Yeah.
Southwick, High Point, and Thunder Valley.
With one shoulder.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I just thought to myself, oh yeah, he crashed at Hangtown, hurt his shoulder, and then like the guys beat him here or there. But no, he still won. Yeah.
Now, I know another argument here, Steve, is that, and look, a lot of this, the arguments are always, this is the thing that I talk about most on the face of the earth, which is that you find the answer you want first, and then you find some research to back it up. Now, I've heard many people say, he's not, a lot of guys were hurt for the 2023 season. Tomac was not there. He was the defending champ. He didn't get to race. Sexton was Supercross hangover, crashed, didn't come back to halfway through the year. A lot of guys were hurt at the end of 2023. Tomac wasn't there last year. What I'm getting at here is I think a lot of people who don't want to see Jet Lawrence win and do want to see Eli Tomac or Chase Sexton or someone else, whoever they happen to be a fan of, and then they're searching for the data to back up what they want to happen, are going to say, why would you think he would dominate? When he did dominate and he was perfect, Tomac was not there.
Mm-hmm.
I do not care. If you have a perfect season in your 450 rookie season, no matter who's there, and then you win the 450 Supercross title in your rookie season, no matter who is there, at that point, I don't think you can make any argument that you're not and amazing and awesome. At that point, you have to start taking away all the asterisks of who was there, who wasn't.
Yeah.
He's a bad dude.
And if you want to go more of a case for Jet, Stu, ACL, round 2 of Supercross, boom, perfect season. Carmichael, all the Supercross, ACL, boom, winner.
Yeah.
So he's on that level, and those guys did it. Why can't Jet Lawrence? For sure. Yep.
Well, no, I think this is what I'm saying. I think people bristle to think Stu coming back to go perfect is he's got to beat Michael Lessie in the first round. I don't think people want to think that beating Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac, etc., is that. So I understand saying, yeah, but this is not the same as Stu coming back because he's got to beat Eli Tomac and he's got to beat Chase Sexton and he's got to beat Hunter Lawrence and Jorge Prado, etc. I get all that, but we have to carve out the point that it might not matter who's racing.
Yeah. Yep.
He's Jet Lawrence and he's really friggin' good.
Yep. No, I agree. We have to brace. Everyone brace themselves because it could be 1-1. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah. And by the way, one other thing, I could not believe this one. He's never lost an overall at Fox Raceway.
Yeah.
7 starts, 7 overalls.
Yeah.
So maybe, even if he does win, you still carve out. I mean, we've seen weirdo openers before, like that Dunge one. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that next weekend at Hangtown, Tomac can't win, and it'll be much ado about nothing. But like you said, you just have to brace yourself because I do feel like with all this hype, if Jet goes down and goes 1-1, a lot of people are going to walk out of there and be like, oh, whoa, I thought this was going to be insane. But a guy just dominates.
To me, I have him and Chase splitting motos or maybe 1-1, 2-2 real close. That's kind of where I see happening a little bit at the opener, and then we'll move forward from there. I do think that Hunter Lawrence will be a little bit of quietly really good. He's really good last year in his debut season on the 450. He's been riding a long time with that ACL, with his shoulder injury. I think Hunter will be really good. Like I know everyone's talking Prado. Like I think Hunter can beat Prado. I have no problem saying that.
Well, it's the other weird thing. Because of the Jet being so good, it does lead, I think, to the automatic underrating of how good Hunter is. Because it's like, I think it's the first thing that everyone thinks, and I think Hunter Lawrence is is he as good as Jet? He's never really measured on his own just standard like every other rider is just thought about how good is he. That's the entire conversation. Yeah, he was excellent last year. Sexton was better, but not by a ton.
Nope.
And it was his rookie year, and Hunter is not a start fast, fizzle out guy. Like, he's the guy that does build every week, every year, slowly but surely gets better and better. I mean, there are some rookies who that's the best year they'll ever have. I don't think that would be the case for Hunter, so I'm with you. But if Hunter wins or podiums, we probably should have been like, yeah, that's not that shocking, actually.
Yeah.
That's the way we should feel. But instead, I think people would be surprised if it happens.
Well, you're gonna be surprised at this, but on the fantasy show, JT and I got into a little bit of an argument because he was saying, Jorge Prado was a better racer than Hunter Lawrence ever was and ever will, and blah blah blah. Hunter, Jorge Prado this, Jorge Prado that, and I agree. Jorge was excellent in Europe, but on the Kawasaki in America with the U.S. schedule on a U.S. track, like, give me Hunter Lawrence right now. Can Prado get there? Sure, but to me, I think Prado's going to be figuring things out, figuring out racing, all of that, and Hunter Lawrence is going to be like, oh yeah, I got this bike down pat, I got this track down pat, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, the only variable there is just that Prado is such a good starter, and if he whole shots 2 motos or up front in both motos, and Hunter does not, that might be all that matters. Especially because I do think in the opener with this field, a lot of guys will be feeling it out. Like, there won't be that. Like, if you start 6th, I could see a guy being like, okay, let's just see how it's going here, as opposed to, I'm going to try to pass 3 dudes in this first straightaway, which would happen maybe later in the year where there's a pecking order and you're like, I'm battling this guy and I got to get to this guy. The starts are a big neutralizer in favor of Prado, but I'm with you. I just think there's so many variables. The bike, new team, new bike, coming back from injury, tracks he doesn't know, format he doesn't know. I just think that's a lot.
Yeah, I think he'll get there. He'll get there, but it'll take some time,
Yeah, don't be confused. I don't know about you, but this is not me saying that Jorge Prado is a second-tier, second-class rider. I would easily, if you want to get on board and say that the MXGP motocross level is as good or better than the AMA motocross level, I'm totally on board with that. I just think he's got too many variables the moment to show that necessarily. He still might be able to overcome it. That's all. It's not a knock on Prado.
No.
Or like he's champion of a second-rate series or anything like that. That's a lot of stuff stacked up.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Injury, American format. I've heard every GP rider come over and tell me how tough it is. The heat, the format, the lack of time on the tracks. I've heard everybody tell me this, so I'm just going to go with the same thing for Jorge Prado. And he'll get there, but just off the start, I think Hunter Lawrence will have him covered a little bit. So 702-586-PULP. Got some lines on hold for the great Jason Weigandt. I want to thank the folks at Get and Athena. Speaking of the Lawrence brothers, they're using the Get ECUs on their 450s. 250 guys as well. We're going to get into that with Zach Osborne, the 250 class. But email us using the contact form on Pulp for a discount for Get and Athena. 2-stroke CDIs, 4-stroke ECUs, all of it, and a discount. Get. It stuff's really great, and it'll bring your bike to life. So thanks to the folks at Get and Athena. And Decal Works as well. Ron and the boys sending Weigandt, his official graphic company of Jason Weigandt for his Blue Crew. DecalMX.com, PulpMX25 to save. Red Bull KTM, Jason Weigandt, and others doing it. We're giving away a pair of goggles for 100% as well. All right, Weege, let's take some phone calls here. We got a lot. The first phone call we'll take is a guy I want to talk to you about, and that's Gage is on 3. What's up, Gage?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are y'all?
Good.
Good. Hey, had a question. So I know Tomac rode the KTM from what I've heard. It's a 2-part question. Wanted to see if you've heard how that test went, and also happened to notice on social that Paolo Ciabatti was in Cortez by chance. Seems kind of odd there, but wanted to get you guys' take on those 2 potential rides.
That was odd that Paulo, who's the boss of Ducati Racing, would post that, but maybe he did it on purpose. I think maybe he didn't, though. I don't know, Weege. Like, he's an older guy.
Well,
maybe he just doesn't really get it. But, of course. He's obviously in Colorado.
I thought it was interesting. This is the same person that did post a picture of him shaking Ken Roczen's hand at MotoGP and, says, "Nice to meet you, Ken Roczen." That seemed awfully non-accidental to do this twice.
Yeah, good point, I guess. Honestly, Gage, I haven't heard. I don't know. I know Kate, he's ridden the KTM. He's ridden Ducati. All signs point to him being out at Yamaha. John and Eli aren't exactly the most outgoing with information and news, so I have not heard anything.
Right.
I doubt you have either. But
Well, I think you're correct. I think he's ridden at least the KTM. I'm not sure about the Ducati. I think Ducati and the TLD team wants him. I think the problem is we have been hearing for months, the Ducati might not even be ready to race Anaheim 1. Now, they could maybe get it there. I mean, if you're Tomac, that's non-negotiable. You can't wait a year, till next May to race it. But if it was at one point not even ready to race, I shouldn't use that term, is it going to be good enough to win or podium? Like, we went from we don't think we should even race to we'll give you a bike you can win on in that same time frame. I think, to me, that's the biggest problem with the Ducati thing. Not the money or the team or the setup, but it's just like, we didn't think we'd be able to race Supercross in January. Now we have to give you a bike you can win on.
Yeah. Yeah, Gage, there you go.
And to see if they can get a cable clutch conversion.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we need that. And make sure that rear end sag is right. We make sure
that's right.
Get that back end up. Yeah.
Thanks, Gage. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Eli does. I'm a little down on Eli Weege a little bit, just because, like, what he did, 2 nationals last year, right? Jumped in and did okay at one of them, and then hasn't raced for basically 2 full years. He's been injured. He's like, age stops for no one in Moto. He's 32 years old. Would I love to see him come out and take it to Jet and chase? That would be amazing. He would have the hugest fan base out there, because everyone loves the old guy beating the hot young kids, and everyone loves Eli Tomac anyways. But I don't see it, Weege. I see him being off a little bit.
I was worried about that for the same reasons. Just not really the age thing, because I can't take anything away from him in Supercross. I really can't doubt that at all. Like, maybe we just need to throw away everything we've known about past dudes, because he was, I feel, just as fast at the first 5 Supercrosses as he's ever been. Yeah, I am more concerned over he has literally barely raced any motocross in years. And for some guys, that doesn't matter as much, but you mentioned the sag or the cable clutch. With Eli, when it's just slightly off, it does get a little off. I just feel like the odds that it could be slightly off for this first weekend are there. And we know how Eli is. If it's a little off, it will show. He's not going to get arm pump and still 1-1 it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they nail it and he's good. But that's a lot of time off of Moto. He did say, though, to swap Moto, he's never ridden this much motocross preparing, because usually you're doing Supercross. Yep. So maybe that's something.
Listen, if he can do it and start winning races, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, we got a call on Justin on 5. What's up, Justin?
Hey, man. I just thought I'd ask you guys about, is this probably the biggest hype we've had for outdoors coming in a long time? Just with everybody coming back. And
I think for a long time. I don't know about all time and all of that. It's always hard to measure hype and all that. I mean, James moving up and battling Ricky was huge back in the day. Weege, but this is one of the bigger ones, Weigandt.
I've been saying, I don't know if it's the hashtag deepest field ever. It's certainly in the conversation, but someone's going to look, DV will probably look at the 2000 Nationals when he was winning, and you'll be like, damn, that is a good group. But as far as, like, the most excitement over, like, I have no clue what's going to happen, to me it has to be the most, because this injury timing thing, I can't think of another year that worked out quite like this, where almost all, maybe you could say 4 of the 5 best guys are all coming back from injury at the same time, taking Sexton out of that. I don't know when that's been replicated.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes the TV package as well.
Go ahead, Justin. What?
Sorry, I was going to say that also, with the TV package and just the promotion of everything just being bigger and better as the whole series is getting better promotion, it seems like it's going to facilitate itself to lead to better coverage and just overall a better experience for everybody.
Well, for sure, Weigandt's biased as shit, but I can say that having everybody on board and having Supercross promoting motocross and vice versa, and being on one channel, and the days of OLN a week later, like, we're way better off. That's for sure. Now you're right
I'm old enough to remember that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right, Justin. Everything's better that way with the force of MX Sports and Feld being together. So.
Hey, not only that, you know me, Steve. I hate when people get the nostalgia porn and talk about how everything used to be so much better. How many years, Steve, have you heard in your 25, 30 years roaming these pits that everything's trending towards Supercross and outdoor is going to go away and the real emphasis is on Supercross and it's going to be Supercross? We've been hearing this for literally decades.
I had a manager, I had a team owner tell me one time that motocross should be the B series. Riders, teams should hire privateers, and like Factory Cowie should just say, Prado and Anderson, you stay home. We're going to hire Chiz. I think the guy used Chiz as an example, by the way. You should hire the Factory Cowie. You should hire Chiz and Harlan and go racing. This is what a team owner told me, and I'm like, you're fucking crazy if you think that that's what should happen. But this is the attitude that was going on.
Well, here's what I'm getting at. Who are probably the two next stars or brightest moving up stars to take the mantle in the future? I'll even say three. I'll throw Sexton in there. But we know that the Jet Lawrence, Hayden Deegan light shines very, very brightly. Mm-hmm. Deegan is better at motocross than he is at Supercross, and I think Jet might be too. So look at the situation on the horizon here for the next 5 or 10 years. Does it look like we're screwed and motocross is going to die?
No.
Can someone actually say something positive about something that happens in current times ever? Thank you to our caller here for actually pointing out that not everything was always better when the top dudes were like, get me out of motocross. I hate riding motocross. Deegan is not saying that at all.
I think at one point we had 4 or 5 of the top 10 in Supercross not doing nationals. Wyndham, Larocco, Jeremy, probably someone else I'm forgetting. Yeah.
Meanwhile, this year you'll have Jet and Deeks on the gate together in this race. Look out.
Yeah. Yep. No,
I'd still like to point out, too, that this is still one of the hardest disciplines in the world. And people, I think, take that for granted as well, that just because it's not as glamorous as Supercross, this is the hardest thing in the world for an athlete to do, is to race motocross at this level. And I think it's so overshadowed by the fact that it's not as glamorous, unfortunately.
No, Supercross gets the hype for sure, but motocross, it's incredibly insane how tough it is to win the championship. Thanks, Justin. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right. Yep, thanks, guys.
Jason Weigandt here on the line. We got Thomas. Thomas has some thoughts on Shimoda. What's up, Thomas?
I hate to be this guy to bring it up this early, but with some of the aggression that we saw come out during Supercross, number one, do we think that that's going to come out now that he doesn't really have, his buddies in the class? And will that allow him to be where he should be at this point in his 250 career? And two, do we think that he has the most pressure on him out of the 250 guys to perform? I mean, is he the number one guy on the chopping block if he doesn't perform this year?
From what I understand, Honda has an offer out to him. They want him back. It's up to Joe to decide if he wants to go back or not. So I don't know how much pressure.
It's not as good, though.
What's that?
I bet it's not as good as it was.
Yeah, probably
not.
It's
not as much money as he was making.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. What do you think, Weege? Pressure on Joe?
Yeah, I think there is because, all right, I guess if Honda gave him an offer, it's not that bad. But, dude, if you go back 2 years ago when he was signing this deal, you could easily make an argument that, maybe Shimoda's the next guy in this class once the Lawrences move out. Is anyone saying that now?
Nope.
He could still be, but there's no way in the last 2 years that his stock is where it was. He's been overshadowed by a lot of guys now. So there's something there, even if he gets another deal or not.
Yeah. Thomas, you want a pair of 100% goggles?
Would love that.
All right. Stay on hold. We'll get them to you. I didn't expect a Joe Shimoda question for the opener, so we'll give you those goggles. I just didn't really think I'd go there. I think Hymas beats Joe this summer all day long. There's low-key Hymas hype, Weege. A lot of low-key Hymas hype.
Yeah, and I think there should be because how good he was last year, and he's been advertising that he has not even been riding Supercross for the last couple of weeks, even when he was racing Supercross on weekends. To me, though, that puts pressure on him. You put all your eggs, and I understand why. He was hurt coming into Supercross. He could have just skipped it. There were no expectations or results. But to me, anytime you put all your eggs in any one basket, there's pressure there to me. Like he cannot afford to come in here and just kind of have a midday. Right. I don't think he's really got to come out and establish himself when you've said the past 5 months were just a warm up.
Yeah, no, you got a good point there. Moto 60 show. Use the code PulpMX when you check out at Fly Racing. Brian's on 2. What's up, Brian?
Ryan?
Brian, what's up?
Yeah, hey. I'm calling in talking to you guys about Joey Savacci and the Firepower Honda team, if they were going to do all the races and for outdoors. And then if so, I kind of view Malcolm as somebody that does better in Supercross. I feel like Joey, if he can be consistent, is kind of equal Supercross to motocross.
Yeah.
Are we going to see?
I would agree.
Are we going to see? Are we going to see is Savacci kind of get the better of Malcolm this summer?
What do you think, Wage? Where do you put Savacci versus Malcolm? 450s.
Yeah, I could see him being better than Malcolm, actually. But the problem is, for either one of them, and especially Joey, whatever that position is, Joey will still be bummed. So that's the thing. Like, we're going to look, and he could get 6th, and Malcolm could get 8th, and a 6th place for Savacci with this team against this field would be awesome. But, Steve, do you think Joey will be pumped on it?
No, he'll never be happy. No, he won't. He's Joey's glass half empty guy.
Yeah.
I think he could be. I think Brian or Ryan, to your point, I think Joey could be a little bit underrated here coming in to the outdoors. Like, he's pretty good in moto, as you said. He's pretty good in Supercross, pretty good in moto. If he's 5 to 10 all summer long, I think that's a success. He won't say that's a success, but I think that's a success when you look at this field. Like, we're not even talking about Cooper Webb here. We haven't even mentioned him. He's in for all 11 rounds and. AP and all of that. So Barsha's out for round 1, I guess. Weege. Barsha's still not recovered. Apparently.
Yeah, I just heard that. Just heard that this morning that he decided it's not a go. It was a go. Now it's not a go.
Yeah. So just throw Barsha in the mix too. Yeah.
But I believe with RJ Hampshire, this is not just faking it. This is not just hype. He is really racing. I was suspicious the whole time.
Yeah.
But I guess he's really racing.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Thank you. Seth has a future headlines. What's up, Seth?
Hey guys, thanks for taking the call here. I'm going to give my first attempt at a future headline.
All right, sounds
good.
good.
Let me know if I butcher it too bad.
We love those things. Yep.
All right, so it's between the GP imports in both classes. So Prado plans his perfect start and pushes past the U.S. riders, or Harrop handles the U.S. field and pushes Triumphs to new heights.
Weege?
Prado is both the, I think, more likely and also better use of alliteration headline. We just mentioned the reason that Prado has some things stacked against him, but it is still Jorge Prado, who is still amazing. And I'm not sleeping on Harrop's skills, but to win it seems like a bit of a reach. There's a part of me that's like, hey, we have seen this before, Steve. We have seen this where the motocross guy from Europe is just way ahead of everybody else at first. We've seen it before.
Yep.
And that would be – I just don't know if Harrop is quite winning races level right off the bat. But why would – it's not impossible that Prado could be that good.
No, the one thing about Prado is, like, people are like, look at Roczen. And I'm like, did you forget he rode 250s for a couple of years? Like, he got in with lesser competition on the 250 side and learned America that way. Never did win a 250 motocross title. So I don't – when I'm talking about Prado starting off slow with the American stuff and you throw Roczen at me, I'm like, wait, that was year 3 or 4. What are you throwing Roczen at me for? You know? So thanks, man.
No, Tortelli did do it. Tortelli did do that.
Yeah, I think he would have won that title in '99. I think he would have won it if he hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah, and he did go 1-1 in an all-time dominant opener. But it's the injury thing is just makes it a real wild card for Prado. That's all.
All right, before we let Jason Weigandt go, let's bring in Beta USA's #1 ambassador, maybe the only ambassador, motocross champion Zach Osborne. What's up, Zacho?
Cruising along. What about you?
Not much. Any questions, Weege, for the Beta ambassador?
Wow. Oh, I get to ask one?
Sure.
I get to ask one? I'm going to stay right there because this is right up Zacho's weirdo alley. How good is Miko Harrop? I think most fans probably don't even have any clue. I know he's probably better than they're thinking. But how good is he? And I know you have a little insight on Triumph because you worked with Joey last year. How good could this be? Could he podium? Is that in the cards?
I think that's pretty lofty. But I think he can be in the top 5 if everything goes good. He gets a good start and puts himself in a good spot. He's been riding for a long time, and just having that little bit of extra outdoor hours, I think, can make a difference for him. I think Paul is a weirdo track. Like, super, edgy and strange and not like our typical East Coast races, which I think benefits Mickle. So I think top podium's lofty, but top 5s may be possible.
Okay.
Steve, do you agree that if you want to ask a guy about a Beta, a Triumph, and a Danish rider coming over from GPs, that Zacho is probably the guy?
100%. Like whatever whatever you want to throw at him, you can do that. And we could also ask him probably about Paturel and this other guy I've never heard of. We did a fantasy pod, and Paul said a name that I thought he was like a delivery driver. I never heard of this guy, but he's
who?
God damn, let me look it up here. Hold on, you guys talk.
Oh, delivery driver. J-Mart? Delivery driver?
Gio, I'm going to lose my mind.
No, stop it.
No.
Stop it.
No, we know Gio.
Well, that's...
No, Lewis put it on Twitter yesterday about this guy.
I don't know.
Okay, hold on. Keep talking.
One other thing before I go with this, I don't think this will quite manifest itself in the first race, but I can tell you that Alex Fedortsov there with Club MX has alarming speed. It's been seen many times now. Fans saw it in Supercross. He qualifies unbelievably. We still have not seen Club prove that it can quite get to the factory 250 bike level yet outdoors. And that's putting a lot of heat on this kid to do it, but I don't know. Like, his speed is insane. Like, what if he's like third in qualifying? I don't even know if he'll do it in the motos. The replicating in racing has been tough for him, but
would you say his speed is insane, and then like you think it's a third in qualifying insane? Really? I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm not predicting that will happen, but I'm saying there's like, I don't know. This dude is like a huge wild card where there is a chance at some point that Wiggs will be blown back with the speed this dude has.
I haven't really seen him ride outdoors. I mean, I know Supercross speed's decent. I watched him a little bit last year when I was there, but not a ton. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's possible.
Okay, I got the name.
Yeah.
Nicholas Lapucci.
Oh, I know Nicholas Lapucci. He does 6 scrubs.
Yeah. See?
Number 211.
I don't know, man, but where are we at with him?
I don't think he's much of a racer. He's fast, but I don't know. Maybe he scores points or something.
Okay, Lewis said he could lead a lap.
Oh, come on, Lewis.
Anybody can lead a lap if they pull a whole shot.
I mean, okay, all right.
He's on the Bubba Pauly, Freddie Noren team, I believe.
Oh well, then how is Jericho going to be able to focus, still being on Stone Cold, Cloud 9?
Yeah, that's a big drawback. All I know is Fedorstov has got Voland covered, and I don't know where Voland exactly slots in, but Voland is not a joke. Voland is not nothing.
Kellen's on line 4 right now.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding, but I'm just saying.
He knows all about this.
Yeah, you can't blasphemy use those words like that. Okay, before we let you go, Weege, give us your winners, both classes.
I want to get out of here in one piece and not have any heat this weekend, so I'm just going to go with Chase Sexton and Hayden Deegan, and no one's going to come at me for that one.
Nope. Yeah, you're right about that.
Easy odds.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Weege, thanks, buddy. Good luck this weekend in the booth, and I'm sure we'll see you at the races this weekend. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Thanks. And ask Zacho some GNCC stuff. I'm sure he's got that dialed too.
Yeah, we'll get into that with Zacho. Yeah.
Yeah.
See you. That's Jason Weigandt, everybody. I want to thank the folks at 100%. By the way, PulpMX30 is the code to save, direct from 100%. Casual wear sunglasses, cycling glasses, helmets, and then, of course, goggles. Jet Lawrence, Cooper Webb wearing the goggles. PulpMX30 is the code to save at 100%. Directly from those guys. Thank you to that. Get, Maxis, Decal Works, O'Neill Home Team Lending, Seat Concepts, all on board. Fly Racing, Moto 60 Show. Zacho, do we have a beta ride report yet?
Not yet. Get back tomorrow, I believe.
Okay. All right. Well, we can't wait for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming.
Talked a lot of 450s with Weege, so let's talk 250s with you if you don't mind. And you are a 250 outdoor champion. So Deegs is heavily favored, right, to repeat. Like, am I off base there? If there's a championship pie, give Deegs, I don't know, 50 to 60% of it and break the other percent.
Yeah, more. I think.
Okay, all right.
More, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, just.
I don't think you're anywhere off base there. I don't know how hot or cold of the take this is, but I think he's a way better outdoor rider than he is Supercross.
Mm-hmm.
Great Supercross rider. Can't take that away from him, but he's special outdoors in my opinion. And I was talking to some buddies last night, and like he can win Supercrosses and he's good, but outdoors, like he can win from 30th. Like he's really freaking good.
No, for sure. And you were in his position where you broke through and you won that title, and then I feel like the next year you're like, I've got these guys even more, right? Like I know what to do. I know how to do this. I know what how deep I got to go into the pain cave and everything. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And the fitness builds on the year before and the Supercross season, and it just gets kind of easier and easier, to an extent. I think that's exactly right. I don't see anybody beating him over a series. I think he'll lose some races.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Levi's going to be really good. I think there's going to be some other guys that kind of step up and show out. But, over a series, I don't see him losing.
Levi, Hymas, and Vial I have the next group down. The guys that are going to take some race wins away from him. Am I missing anybody?
No, I think that's pretty good. I wish Davies wasn't hurt because I think he can be super good outdoors as well. But yeah, I think you're pretty spot on there. I don't know. Chance hasn't shown kind of the form that he had last year to warrant him being one of the guys that beats him, but maybe he shows up and he's on point.
Well, the reason I say that is because A, there's been low-key Hymas is flying test track stuff, and then B, he's been riding Moto for a long time. He can Supercross during the week, somewhere in the middle of Supercross season because it just wasn't going well. So hey, let's throw our skills behind the outdoor stuff. So that's why I think he's
fair enough.
better.
I think if he's had a little extra prep and you're hearing that, then I would definitely say he has the potential. I think he should have won a race last year. That crash at Unadilla obviously was gnarly and kind of took him out of the running, but yeah, he's definitely one guy that can step up to it.
No, we went through this on the Blair Mathis project. He won Redbud last year. He went 4-1 for the overall.
Overall? Well, yeah.
So he did win.
Kicked me in the head because I didn't know that.
Right. I'm with you. I didn't quite get it because the points on the AMA is all screwed up, so I think he got a docking of 5 points. I don't remember that, but yeah, Hymas did win.
Oh, yeah. I do remember something about that. I don't remember what it was for, though.
Yeah, I don't know either. 702-586-PULP. Give us a call. Zach Osborne on the line. Talk about the opening round at Fox Raceway here. To me, this J-Mart thing is the most interesting deal of the summer. He may start off slow. Paula's not a great track for him anyways, but I don't know. Like, I feel like this J-Mart thing is so interesting to me.
It is to me, too. I think, I think we talked about it the last time before Salt Lake, but he's going to start slow. Paula's not great for him, but Hangtown is. Colorado is. If he can get out of Paula with 2 top 10s and get himself, maybe top 5 on the podium the next 2, there's some interest. You got my ear.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good. Man, when you talk to other racers some of them are his friends, so they're kind of biased, but they'll tell you, no one can go deep into themselves late in a moto like J-Mart, fitness-wise. They are
I don't think that anybody in the, let's air quotes, new generation has that old-school dog. Anybody in the 250 class has that. So, I think I said the last time that podium's maybe the ceiling, but I don't know. Maybe the cards fall right and he wins one. That'd be super cool, right?
Oh, that would be amazing. It would be such a nice comeback. We got Jim on one question about Star Racing. What's up, Jim?
Hey guys, Jim from Vancouver Island. I was listening to the Dale Earnhardt AP podcast yesterday, and you probably covered this before. It's totally irrelevant to outdoors right now, but AP had mentioned how when Star took over, they made the 450 that much better. What was it? How could the factory not provide the best bike? Were they stuck in a box? Were they stubborn? And I heard that, and it made me wonder that.
Yeah, you know what? It's a great point, right? Because so many guys will point to that. Barsha and Cooper, Webb, and AP were having a hell of a time on that factory Yamaha, right? And then Star gets it, and it turns the program around. From what I understood, Jim, they were just more open to trying anything and everything, like races and engine mounts and different compressions on pistons and cams. They got a bunch of cams from a bunch of people and tried them out. Where Yamaha's like, hey, this is our cam guy. This is our piston guy. We don't believe in motor mounts. Things like that. And Star was like, fuck it, we'll try all of it. So from what I understand, it was really an open-mindedness from the Star guys on trying anything and everything to get that bike working to where the riders wanted it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Jim.
Martin for the win.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Jeremy Martin for the win. That would be pretty amazing. O'Neill Home Team Lending. There's a $1,500 credit towards your closing costs going on right now from Craig. 619-535-7477. O'NeillTeamHomeLending.com. O'Neill is O'Neil. And whether it's buying a new home, refinancing, consolidating debts, all of that, Craig at O'Neill Team is there to guide you through the mortgage process. Please, they've been in business for over 30 years. MLS number 1942. Check them out. And Seat Concepts as well. Our guy Max, they do the seats for Beta. I don't know if you knew that, Zacho, but they do the seats.
They do. I did indeed know that.
Yeah, so they do the seats for Beta. Zach Osborne, Beta ambassador. Pulp25 code to save 15% off your next purchase, whether it's the Race 2.0 or the Comfort Series. Seat Concepts proprietary foam formulation and handcrafted seat shapes are made in the USA and saving your ass since 2009. So use that code Pulp25 to save at Seat Concepts as well. O'Neill Team Home Lending, Decal Works, Maxxis Tires, Get and Athena and 100% and FlyRacing.com. Zach Osborne on the show. Zacho, we made this point off the top with Weege. Like, I don't really. So we got Tomac and Jed and Hunter and Sexton and Prado. That's 5. We got AP, 6. Cooper Webb is 7. Where's RJ and Malcolm, Colt Nichols, and Justin Cooper going to fit in? I guess I probably should put Cooper higher. So, like,
yeah,
where are they going to, like, RJ may just get 9th.
I know RJ had, like, a little procedure on his wrist last week to get that fixed, so I think he's going to start a little slower than probably what he would have liked. J. Coop, I don't know. I just feel like he's kind of soft dirt dependent, so maybe by the time we get to Colorado or High Point, he's more of a factor, but I hope he can find that, like, late Supercross season form right off the bat, because he's a good addition to the spice of everything. But I think you're pretty spot on right there with what you said. I mean, I don't see it changing very much.
And then you look at Colt Nichols, who just came off the Glen Helen win. He's going to be around 10th. Pacharel, right? There's going to be these dudes that are just not in the top 10 that are going to be like, wait, what happened? And
yeah, I mean, there always is, right?
Yeah.
When there's this many factory guys and so many guys coming back from injury, there's going to be some head scratching at the end of the weekend.
So let me ask you this. As a guy that came into a lot of races figuring that you could win or top 3, did you have a time or two where you got your doors blown off and you were like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, for sure. 2016 had a really good Supercross season, and then started the season, I think I got I don't remember, 15th in the first moto at Hangtown or something. I think I got 4th or something in the second moto, which was like a little bit of a rescue. And then I want to say we did Glen Helen that year, and that was terrible.
You went 24. 24.
24?
Yeah,
24. That's what I thought. Barely scored points in the first moto of the season. That's a great feeling after being on 6 Supercross podiums. But yeah, it's easy to miss. It's easy to go there and get arm pump. It's easy to have yourself a day where you're like, oh crap, this is going to be a long 3 months, you know?
So yeah, what's it like as how does it affect you mentally? Does it, do you work harder the next week? Do you reassess your life? How does that work?
Yeah, it was always like an arm pump thing for me. So if I could get past the arm pump and just have a result like I did there in the second moto at Hangtown, it was like, okay, I still can do this. My bike's not bad. I can work from here, But that I don't think I ever had, other than early days, 07, 06, where I was just not even close, for both motos, 25th in time practice, whatever. I was always, I was not so bike dependent. I always kind of was whatever with the bike. It was more if I could get my head around the speed and not have arm pump.
So you went 8-8 the next week at Hangtown. You started both motos in 17th at the end of the first lap. So
yeah, that bike was not that fast that year.
Your starts
we made it work.
Starts were not on point either.
Yeah, then I ended the season with I won Budds Creek, and then that was when we had that weird string of DNFs, but I was able to get a win at the end there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to put myself, or you're trying to put our listeners into the mind of somebody who may get smoked this weekend. Like Paula's not good for Justin Cooper, right? And like he might.
Yeah, it could easily get in a panic if you're, especially if you're a younger guy and you don't have that knowledge. Like, okay, like I'm gonna take this on the chin and go racing again next weekend and get closer to home, and the soil will help me. It's easy to get spun out. Go down the wrong path of the bike, and then you leave your base setting. You can't get back to your base setting because you felt something different, and you can't. You don't have that same feeling again. There's plenty of wormholes to get down if one weekend goes bad at the start of the season.
So I always thought, as a mechanic, that we would open at Glen Helen, we'd go to Hangtown. A few years there, Colorado was in the mix. A few years it wasn't. But I always felt like, Zacho, you really knew where things were at by High Point. The first time you were back east with that dirt, those ruts, that's what you're going to see the rest of the year. That's what, if you listen to the riders complain about their bikes at Glen Helen or Hangtown, they're not going to be saying the same things at High Point because of everything else. And I always felt like, okay, here's where we're at after High Point. Do you agree?
I do agree. I think that, like I said, especially for a couple of these guys, it's very dirt dependent. They're going to know, like, hey, Paula is not great. Like, even for me, Paula was always terrible. Glen Helen was always really tough for me. If I could get to Hangtown, have a decent feeling there, get to Colorado, I knew I was good there. Mm-hmm. And then once it got east, I was fine, So I definitely think that High Point, being round 4, it's a good spot to be like, okay, this is the players. This is what we need to work on. This is how we move forward. Our bike's great. Our bike's terrible, whatever. That's a more realistic look at it. Paula, they all ride there a lot, and I think a lot of the teams have kind of neutered some of that stuff with, testing in other places. Like I saw Cowie was at Club MX last week, and, Stars in Florida, blah, blah, blah. So there's more than – there used to be a lot more of that when it was only testing in California, and you could only kind of stay in that Glen Helen milestone Paris box, and you never really knew what you had until you went east.
Yeah.
I think that was a different kind of time period in the sport, but with guys traveling and teams traveling and doing more outside the box stuff now, I think it kind of helps some of that. But still, I think by High Point, you got your players pretty mapped out.
Yeah, I kind of saw that, and I kind of agree. Yeah, talking about Paula, I asked AP, like, why are you good here or whatever? And he's just like, dude, when I was at Star, we were all based in California. We rode here 8 million laps. That's all. That's the only place they could ride back then when all the Star guys were based in Cali. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my time in Cali was a little bit before the whole Paula time. It wasn't nearly as open or popular then. Mm-hmm. But I just never was willing to, I don't want to say put the effort in, but I was never willing to go there, set up my bike, and do all that for one race. I felt like staying at home, training, doing my normal program, and, being as fit as I could be would kind of offset the cost, and I didn't have to be in California and all that stuff. So I guess I just never really put that much emphasis on those West Coast tracks because there's 10 East Coast tracks,
Yeah. Was the travel bad but doing that way, going all the way to Cali for 2 rounds and all of that? Does the travel bug you or no?
Well, then Vegas was the end, so we would just stay there,
you would stay, okay.
And it wasn't that bad. Like, we would normally stay Vegas the 2 weeks and then through Hangtown and then go home after Colorado or before Colorado and come back out. But it wasn't too bad. I don't know. I think a lot of guys are going back and forth, like all the way to Florida now. So it's a little different.
What's going to be the biggest adjustment for Prado, do you think? The lack of time on the tracks, the bike setup, the tracks themselves being, say, a little more jumpier than a lot of the GP tracks? What's going to be the biggest adjustment for Prado, do you think?
100% lack of time on the tracks. I think that they're brought up, riding a lot on the weekends from a young age with the EMX feeder program, and even like the 85cc races that I did when I was in Europe. You get a ton of track time, so they don't always have that, like, right off the bat, get it done. I mean, on a good day at a race, you get like 12, 11, 10 good laps in practice. By the time you do 2 15-minute practices, it's not a ton of laps. So I think that's one huge thing. But man, if he was on his old bike, I think he's winning this weekend. If he has if he has found his feet on the Cali outdoors and they've hit the setting, I think with the time that he's had, like 6 or 7 weeks on the bike and fitness and everything, I think he can play at the front. I don't know that he wins this weekend, but he'll be a factor.
Yeah. I think he's going to struggle a little bit. I talked to Weigandt about it. I just think not racing in a long time, on a Cowie, in America, short time on tracks, I think he will struggle a little bit to get adapted to everything. He'll figure it out because he's a great rider. But at first, he might ease into this thing a little bit.
I don't know. I'm kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. I think he can. Maybe he does, but I think it's there. He can do that. He can go out there this weekend and win. With it being a weirdo track and having ridden there some, he's going to have a little bit of that learning curve edge knocked off. And, yeah, I think if he goes there and gets starts, he's basically a whole shot artist, maybe one of the best starters ever. It's possible.
Where do you put Joey Savacci at? We had a caller earlier asking about him around Malcolm and all of that. Where do you put Joey at outdoors?
Yeah, I think top 10 right to start with. I don't know. He's missed some riding because of his injury, so I think he's just kind of getting back to form. And obviously, in the Supercross was better and better. So I think if he can get started in the top 10 and kind of build into the top 5 later in the season, I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah, and everything. And what about the other guys you're working with at all? Have you stopped by to see how outdoors are going for them?
Yeah, all good. I mean, actually, Mitchell Harrison's been riding really well. Guy with pretty big potentials, had some decent results in the past, so I think he can do well. The 250 boys on the PRMX side are all good. This is actually Yoder's never done an outdoor national, so this will be his first one ever this weekend.
For real? He's never done outdoors?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Never done an outdoor national, which is crazy, right? Jack's solid. If Practice Jack shows up, he'll be sweet. Mark's still kind of adjusting to the bike, so I think he's another one of those, like, get it East Coast and things will go good or go better. You'll have a better idea of what you're looking at. But, yeah, everybody's solid. Dylan's obviously not racing. Shane's not racing. Shane hasn't had any sort of off-season since November of 23, so it was time to rest him a little bit. And
he's going to, with his Supercross season and the way it went, he's going to get himself into the SMX top bunch of guys without having to go LCQs and all of that. He'll probably end up being there, and then he'll make even more money from that. Shane McElrath's really having a nice bit of time here with the Aussie and the WSX and then Supercross and the money. And Shane McElrath's having a great year.
He is, and a lot of people called him kind of crazy for taking the deal that he did for this year, but, I mean, it's paid off. And, Shane's been super diligent. He's a great dude, one of the just salt-of-the-earth people that you rarely meet, and it's cool to see him doing well and kind of reaching his potential a little bit.
Quickly, why did he get better? What happened, do you think, or what went on with him? I mean, I talked to him at the races, and he talked about the bike a lot, but kind of in general terms, everything else. Like, there was no doubt, besides his podium there in Foxborough, which was just a mud-induced one, the dude rode a lot better the last month and a half. Any reason why?
Well, I started with Shane in the middle of December, and, he had kind of like 8 or 10 days on the bike before A1, which wasn't enough to really do anything. But it wasn't until kind of end of February, I was at the track one day, and I was like, dude, it just looked, Shane's a super technical, super, mellow-looking, smooth rider, form's perfect, all this stuff, and I was like, I think we need to just, back your corner up 10 feet. And he was like, what do you mean by that? And we kind of worked through the ins and outs of it. And he started to ride more and more like that. And every day it was like, man, I feel different. I feel this, I feel that, and we started to build, and we got to a point where it was like, okay, now I can add in some intensity into the rhythm lanes, and I can still do this, and my bike's getting better. It was just like a huge evolution of him becoming a 450 rider. The first 3 years of his 450 career, he's had 9 different rides, whatever, not
right.
9, but
a
lot.
Yeah.
And he's been so far away from the front pace, just squeaking in out of LCQ, getting 17th in the main events, blah, blah, blah. It hasn't even really given him any knowledge. And I told him, dude, in my mind, this is kind of your rookie season, because you're actually riding at the front. You're getting whole shots in heat race. You're getting third place in heat race. You're riding in the main event in 6th. Like those things were so far away from his radar the last couple of years that it hasn't even him being there and racing, and it hasn't even benefited him,
because he hasn't seen what it's like. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen the front. He hasn't seen the pace. He's been so far away that he felt like getting there was so far away, which it was, And I think that he's just been really diligent. He's been super, I guess, just all in on the program, and it's worked out for him. Like I'm not even trying to give myself any kudos. Like Shane has been. It doesn't matter what I do if the athlete's not all in, then it's not going to work, right? And Shane has been all in since day one, and he's done a really good job for himself. He's really, I feel like, breathed new life into his career because, yeah, sure, the Foxborough podium was a mud race fluke or whatever you want to say, but like the top 5s he got. And just racing at the front, even when he crashed in Salt Lake, he was super bummed about that. But I was like, dude, you're actually trying though. Like, you're not just getting a start and getting past to 14th. Like, that's not useful. Like, you were battling for 4th or 5th, and you tucked the front, but you've had this like steady incline of progression for the last 8 weeks that is kind of unmatched at this point. So, be happy and. He's stoked, he's made a lot of progress, and feel like it's going to build a lot going into next year too, now that we can kind of start from where we stopped, that's the hope.
Yeah, listen, good for him. You don't often see veteran guys in their 3rd year or whatever make a step up. You kind of are what you are at that point, and he's done it. It's not easy, so
right, yeah, you get stuck in that endless loop of 14th, 16th. Oh, it's a mud race. You got a 10th, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But he really did kind of break out.
Nope, he did absolutely. All right, Zacho, Fox Raceway, give us your winners this weekend.
Hayden Deegan and Eli Tomac.
Eli Tomac.
Back on the train, Steve.
Love to see it. That's great. All right, buddy. Well, hey, thanks.
I think. Listen, here's my reasoning. I think that he's had a little bit extra time for setup. I think that he has a serious chip on his shoulder from like some of the interviews and stuff I've seen, because he doesn't have his ride solidified for next year, and I think he's just kind of a beast right now. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, listen, man, that would be quite a story. It'd be pretty damn cool, also. So, thanks for your time, buddy, on the show. Appreciate it, and we have re-upped you for outdoors in SMX, so you're in.
Yeah, bro. Let's go.
All right. Enjoy the beta. Let us know next week. We'll ask you what you think. All right?
Will do. Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Zacho. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. That's the Fly Racing Moto 60 show for another day. Talon?
What's up, Steven?
Great work, buddy.
Great work.
Way to come in.
This seat just brings out
Way
excellence.
to come in, man.
Yep.
Fantastic. Tits?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
After having sat in this chair, I understand why you say what you say.
Thanks, man.
Very easy.
All right, everybody. You can't really hear you. You got to talk into the mic.
Sorry.
Yeah. Fly Racing Moto 60 show for another weekend. Maybe Marks will be back next week. No one knows. Thanks for watching and listening. See ya.